Welcome to Flex That Worx, a podcast for anyone building, managing, or growing a flexible workspace without making things more complicated than they need to be. If you're running a single co-working space, juggling multiple locations, or overseeing a growing network of spaces across towns or cities, this is your space. It's for the operators, the managers, decision makers, the people doing the work to make these places run. This is Flex That Worx, scaling your workspace, made simpler and less stressful. See you in the episode.
If you were a smaller operator starting out and there are very large established brands in the marketplace, what would you do to not be kind of intimidated by that or to set yourself apart?
Certainly wouldn't try emulate or copy them. You're always going to look for a USP, point of difference, whatever it may be. As a smaller operator, your natural instinct is to undercut. Try not to do that, for one thing. I've had countless conversations with operators here in Ireland, and I find that the smaller operators are largely self-deprecating. I've probably mentioned this point before, Anne-Marie. Say, I can't charge that because, their place is nicer. I'd say don't be afraid to charge, anyway, would be one thing. Comes to differentiating like that, find out. Maybe it is the elbows at the ready, shared bench type of space you want to run. But what I would say is take that time to do the research that we discussed at the start of the session and go for that. Find what your segment, your niche, and your ideal client is. I've seen it in the past where people try to be the big operator, try to behave like a big operator when they just don't have the resources. They don't have the design team for the aesthetics or the staff to deliver the service. So, think of it in coffee shop kind of ways. Like, do you want to be the quirky, independent coffee shop in the corner that has queues, right? Which would be like our chap in Slovenia, right? That's delivering a really solid gourmet product, right? Or do you want to be a chain? And sometimes what you'll find with a lot of, like, especially coffee operators, I've kind of come across is like, they're very passionate about their beans, the milk they get, the way they brew their coffee. And they're happy with maybe one spot. It's a lifestyle business for them, first of all, and they're happy to have it as a lifestyle business. You don't necessarily, and so you need to define what your success looks like. Yes, you need to pay the bills. Yes, you need to keep the accountant happy. Yes, you need to, pay your own personal bills off the back of what you turn up and work on every day. But define what success means to you. If it means being the next big chain, that's a totally different business model. I don't see the guys down here in our village saying, I wish we were Starbucks. They just don't. Like, they're happy with the coffee, the customers and that personal touch. They know everybody by name, and they don't have to write the names on the cups. So to use a parallel universe in that extent, I think that'd probably be the best way to describe it.
If you had to make some recommendations to a smaller operator who want to provide, if they do have competition with some chains around them and they want to provide some amenities and like an experience that would be similar to something somebody can access easily from a bigger brand nearby, do you have any ideas for kind of like lower cost options and ways that they can deliver something unique?
It's personal touch, Anne-Marie. And I'm not saying the bigger operators don't provide personal touch. I'm not saying that at all. But there's a personalized touch and there's a personal touch. I rock up to a reception desk in a hotel. They ask me my name, they see my booking, and then they can engage with me because they have all my information there. And then while they're checking me in to fill the time, they're asking me, am I in town on this and that? With the smaller operators, you can actually start with that question straight away. Right, what brings you down? How'd you find us? Do you know this person? Do you know that person? You can actually get, my holidays, or, do you have family in the area? They're not questions you're going to get asked generally when you're in one of the bigger operators, So you can actually have that personal touch rather than that personalized touch and build that authentic relationship rather than trying to get them sign up for a loyalty scheme. This is authenticity, really. That's where smaller operators can win all day long.
What strikes me when you're describing about that personal experience, I would love to see smaller businesses take a little bit of time to try and encapsulate that experience that members do have and put it forward in that first touch point in your marketing. So when people find your space, they know that they're going to get that.
Yeah.
Because it's all well and good people getting to have the experience, coming through the door, getting to have the experience and saying, now I know why I'd come here over another space. But you have to let people know ideally in an ideal world, you let people know that first. Build it and they will come. Yes, it's true, but try and capture a little bit of that essence, why you are different, and take a bit of time to put it into your marketing, put it out there. It could just be a social media page where you actually hop on yourself and chat to the camera. It doesn't have to be a big time, resource, financial investment for your space. But if you're a small space and you're looking to get yourself out there, it could be as simple as good old putting your name out there, and people will take notice. Get in touch with your local coffee shop. Where are these people currently working in your town? You know what I mean? If they're at home, they probably leave the house to grab a coffee, stick a poster up. Like, all the old-fashioned marketing 101 ways are still there and available to us, and sometimes something a little bit more grassroots is actually really effective.
Well serviced and supplied urban area generally elbows out. It is about names over doors and being well known and in your face type of branding, and spending loads of money to get ROI and all that kind of good stuff. In suburban and rural and maybe even secondary cities, hyper local marketing, as you said, the traditional stuff works. Events, I keep talking about events like they're probably the cheapest way to get people in the door. Once you people in the door, not only have potential clients, you potential advocates going out the door. You get rooms full of like-minded people. You get to display the personality of the space and your team, the people that are effectively going to be looking after them, if it's not just yourself, which a lot of solo operators out there. Yeah, look, there's bags of opportunity in the co-working industry for sure. Compound annual growth every year. Where that's going to go, a lot of people will tell you that they know, but I can't really say.
It's absolutely booming. And I do think, like, even in bigger spaces, you always have things kind of expanding and contracting. So little spaces think that they have to act like big ones, but actually you always have, especially in cities, you have leaders. You have people who are looking for the next new thing, the next cool spot to hang out, the next quiet place that nobody knows about. So I wouldn't underestimate that your audience is out there. If you've felt the pull to develop a place with a particular brand and feel to it, then there's probably an audience out there for it.
The other thing with the bigger brands, and this is a theory rather than any great insight, is that like these places have been managed from afar, and in a lot of instances, a space operating in a particular city, it's occupancy rates, it's measurement, it's data, it's revenue, it's cost centers, it's all these kind of metrics. And I said their definition of success is very, very clear. When it comes to a localized situation like we have here in Ireland, success can be entirely different. We have lots of not-for-profit social enterprises here in Ireland, and their success isn't measured on profitability. A lot of these places will be funded by corporates, actually fund them. They put their name over the door in order to be associated with it. There's nice to play, between banks and stuff here in Ireland that will sponsor places. Local philanthropists want to give back because they've had a level of success from, growing up in the town and what the town has given their business. They're happy now, look where we're working today. This was donated to the town by a local businessman. That measurement of success in this instance is me and you sitting down here in a place where we didn't grow up, attracted to this locality. And that's their measurement of success. This isn't run for profit, as it's a not-for-profit. It's all about the amount of bums and seats we can get down so that people can spend more money in the local economy, so people can have more families. That's a measurement of success. And that's an alien thought. The publicly listed operators, that's just head-scratching stuff. So again, I kind of bang the drum about defining what your true measurement of success is.
Brilliant. So a few takeaways. Defining what success looks like for your space. Getting clear on the segment of the market that you want to service. What does a member look like to you? Very simply, what would your ideal member look like? And then, who do you think you're likely to get in the door based on where you're located? What kind of amenities might those people find beneficial? How can you best serve them with the resources that you have without running yourself into the ground, and doing it in a way that you still have a good quality of life as an operator as well, and you're driving some profits if possible? And what stakeholders are in the area that can come in as part of sponsorship and events and things like that to really help you drive the memberships in your space. Well, thanks a million for joining us for this episode. We'd love to hear what you think. As always, feel free to drop some comments. We have reviews that we'd love to hear from you, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to Flex That Worx. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss our next episode. Connect with us on LinkedIn, watch the full episode on YouTube, and you can explore free tools and resources over at baseworks.co. This is Flex That Worx, powered by Baseworks, here to help you scale your workspace, making it simpler and less stressful.